Welcome to Community Talk, a public affairs presentation of the MSA United Way and Super Talk 1270. Now your host, Jenna Gullo.
Good morning, Bismarck-Mandan. Thank you for your support this campaign season. We are thrilled to be at hundreds of businesses presenting all day long. We're split up into 3 different areas right now. We have Amber Jensen, who's holding down the fort at BNSF. They're doing a feed all day for their guys, helping out our United Way. We have Kathy Walmsley, who's over training in some employee campaign managers over at MDU. And then with us in studio, co-hosting, we have Chris Block, our Community Impact Coordinator. Thanks, Chris, for helping out today.
Not a problem. Thanks, Jenna. Good morning, everybody.
And so we've been quite busy. Presentations basically every hour on the hour from 6:30 a.m. all the way up till midnight tonight. We're going to be heading back over to BNSF. So we are pleased to come to your business and talk about the work that we do in our community because it's so important. And it's also important for people to get more involved. You know, it doesn't really matter who you give to. I personally do not care, but I think it's important that we all make informed decisions and that we all get involved at whatever level we're all capable of. So if you can't give of your money, can you give of your time? We started United Way's Adopt a Classroom, where businesses are sponsoring different classrooms and taking turns going in every week for an hour over the lunch hour to be present with a lot of the kids that we have. Can you sponsor a backpack program for $5? And if not, can you volunteer to fill the United Way backpacks? This last weekend, we delivered, thanks to our volunteers, we delivered 500 backpacks to students in Bismarck and Mandan elementary schools. So whatever it is, whatever your role can be, we absolutely need your help. Our admin expenses, our last audit, we're at 3%, which is excruciatingly low. Our fundraising expenses were 5%, and that's typically when businesses sponsor either events or billboards. So they give us the money as a premier sponsor, and we promote how they promote us. And it works out really well and helps to keep your donor dollars going where they're needed the most. And so we're talking today with a program that we've funded, I would have to say, for eons. They're a great community partner. In fact, they even shared a recent executive director with our United Way. Kathy Walmsley used to run the local Girl Scouts. Now she's running our United Way campaign, so we're really blessed to have her. And thank you for sharing her. We have Cindy Sorensen with the Girl Scouts here. Cindy is the program specialist. And Cindy, gosh, thanks for your good work with the Girl Scouts and all the girls benefiting from the activities that you, not just the activities, but the learning opportunities that you provide.
Yeah, that is what we do. We're all about building girls of courage, confidence, and character. And building their leadership skills from a very young age. They start in kindergarten and go all the way through seniors in high school.
No kidding.
Yep. And so that's our whole goal, is to build their leadership skills. Fun with a purpose is all, what we're all about.
How many girls are you helping in our community?
In the Bismarck-Mandan area, we have over 500 girls involved.
Wow.
Just here.
That must take a lot of troop leaders.
It does. So we are always looking for volunteers.
Are you?
We are in the middle of our recruitment for the year as well, just like you guys are in your middle of your campaign. So we are looking for troop homes and volunteers to lead those troops.
You need some of those yard signs that the Boy Scouts copied from us, and we'll put some in our yard. We support the Boy Scouts recruitment. We have a few of those, yes, absolutely. So talk to us about... a lot of people think the Girl Scouts is just maybe camping, just fun craft events.
Cookies and craft is...
Oh, and the cookies. You can't forget about the cookies.
That's
the Thin Mints are my favorite.
We are all about, but there's so much more to what the girls learn and what they experience through our program.
Well, let's start with the cookies, because it's not just about fundraising to support the efforts of the Girl Scouts. There's so much more that's involved.
No, it's actually the largest girl-led business in the world. It's all about the 5 business skills those girls will learn through the process of selling those cookies. They are responsible for setting up their own personal business, and they're working with their troop to learn those skills, the money management, financial planning, business ethics. All of those things go into our cookie sale. It's not just about the fabulous cookies.
Yeah, and people don't realize that we are talking with Cindy Sorensen, the program specialist at the Girl Scouts. And so, Cindy, when they're selling these cookies, are there competitions? Are we also talking, teaching kids about, having that initiative and drive?
Absolutely. One of the skills they learn is the goal setting. So they talk a lot about what they want to do, what their goal is, and then breaking that down. How do you reach that goal? So it might be that the troop wants to do this activity. Well, how much money does that take? And how many boxes of cookies does that equal? So, okay, how many boxes do we need to sell to reach that?
Well, that's exciting because that sounds like budgeting to
Absolutely.
me.
Yes.
How we operate at United Way is we talk about, okay, kids are going hungry. What are we going to need to feed them? How much money is that going to take? How much volunteer manpower?
Yep.
And at the Girl Scouts, they're learning that at a really young age. That's very
Starting in
impressive.
kindergarten, they start learning those.
And so talk to us, too, about the STEM
Yep,
program?
STEM is actually one of our pillars that our program is based on. So all of our activities with the Girl Scouts are centered around those pillars, and STEM is one of them. So starting in kindergarten, we have an event aimed teaching them STEM skills, doing experiments, making science fun so that they're engaged and they want to keep doing it. So, we blow a few things up. We launch a few things. We make things change colors. We do all sorts of things and then show them the science behind it as well.
I think that's great. And you have a STEM event coming up this weekend?
Well, the registration for it closes on Friday, so it's still available to be registered for. It's our spooktacular event. So it's our scary science, but not so scary. It's just fun. It's a Halloween-themed science event for our daisies and brownies. So that would be our kindergarten through third grade girls. So that one's coming up on Halloween. Then we have another event called Girls and Gadgets, that this is our fourth year. We've been offering it in conjunction with the Bismarck Career Academy, Bismarck Public Schools Career Academy, coming up on November 14th. So there they get to do, in the past they've gotten to do the flight simulators and the Lego robotics, computer coding, all sorts of things that are geared at a little bit higher age level. That starts with our juniors and goes up, so fourth grade and up.
Wow. Okay, so we need to learn more about what these events entail, how people can become a troop leader. How do they get in touch with you? We are talking with Cindy Sorensen, the program specialist at the local Girl Scouts. You are listening to United Way's Community Talk. Come back in just a couple minutes to learn more about the Girl Scouts.
Right now, 43.
Dave Ramsey is heard here. Super Talk 1270.
Welcome back. My name is Jenna Gullo. I'm the executive director of the Missouri Slope Area-Wide United Way. And if you are a business owner out there or just someone with a big heart that wants to help, get in touch with us at United Way. We raise 65% of our campaign dollars, typically through something called an employee campaign. We do these in businesses, I would say hundreds of businesses around the community. And it's an opportunity for us to come in and speak at a staff meeting. We talk for 2 minutes up to 20 minutes, 30 minutes, however long you'll let us be there with you. And we typically will bring in an impact speaker. So showing you where the dollars go, telling you about the stories and the needs in our community. It's a great opportunity to show your employees that you care. Give them a chance to give back. And you'd be surprised. The number one reason people aren't giving, it's because they don't know. They don't know where to give and how to make a difference. And so give them that chance. If you designate through United Way, 100% of your dollars reaches our partner agency. And we also have a lot of programs that we run out of our United Way office. Do you have children under the age of 5 that you know of or that you care for? Sign them up in our Imagination Library. They'll receive a free book in the mail every single month until they're age 5. And they're age-appropriate books. It's an outstanding program. If you're able to sponsor your child, it's only $25, and that covers 12 books for the entire year. Our United Way backpack program, we're feeding kids who would otherwise go hungry. It's $5 for a backpack, $2,000 for a full weekend. Last weekend, we delivered, thanks to our volunteers, we delivered 500 backpacks to the elementary schools in Bismarck and Mandan, the public schools. We would like to be able to expand to middle school and high school students. And right now, we don't have enough of the designations to cover it. So if you're able to do that, we have about 125 additional kids that we want to make sure aren't struggling over the weekend. A lot of the funding that we do through United Way is targeted at preventative services. And in studio with me today, we have our Community Impact Coordinator, Chris Block. We also have Cindy Sorensen, Project Specialist at the Girl Scouts. The Girl Scouts, Chris, is a shining example of what we can do as a community to target a lot of these issues, get ahead of them, and prevent them from evolving.
Yeah, absolutely. Through our education initiative, which the Girl Scouts is funded through and works with, we really work at getting at those root issues, helping kids catch up if they need to, but also helping them while preventing them from falling behind. And one of the big pieces of that is making sure that kids have positive adult role models, which among many other skills that girls learn through Girl Scouts, that seems to be one that's a natural benefit of Girl Scouts as well.
It is. We love putting our community leaders and parents, or even people without children. We have a lot of troop leaders that don't have kids in the program, or their kids have aged out and they still want to stay involved because it means so much to them to be involved with the youth in the community and to be that role model.
Well, that's funny that you say that. We actually have the chair of our Women's Leadership Circle does not have children, and yet every other week, she's volunteering through our United Way Adopt a Classroom program in Saxvik Elementary. And she never thought it was something that was for her until she tried it. And no, the kids, they just absolutely adore her. And she says it's the best couple of hours in her entire month. So I think people sometimes need to step outside their comfort zone. And, kids aren't that scary.
No, they really aren't. And you're right. The leaders and our volunteers get a lot out of our program, as much as the girls do, because that interaction stays with them. It's fun to sit with leaders when we're at trainings or doing things, getting them ready to go, and they'll talk about the stories of their girls that have gone all the way through, and the trips they've planned, and the leaps and bounds those girls have made in their personal lives, and just watching them turn into wonderful young women and coming back to give back to the program as adults then.
Yeah, it's got to be amazing to watch. There's badges that the Girl Scouts can earn, and until I started working at United Way, I never really had a good understanding of what that even meant. It seemed like maybe you could just go and buy the badges. I had no idea.
Oh, no. There's definitely requirements for every badge at every level. We have what are called legacy badges that travel through all of our age level in Scouts. So there's a similar badge or topic at each age level, and they get progressively more difficult and more involved as the girls progress. So they're age appropriate.
So what does that mean, Cindy?
So
give us an example.
For a brownie, one of our legacy badges that you guys would probably all expect us to have was a first aid badge. That one's been around since day one in Girl Scouts. But what the brownies learn in their first aid badge is significantly different than what an ambassador, which would be a junior or senior in high school, would learn. And what they have to do to earn it at that level is significantly more difficult as well.
Wow, what does a junior in high school, an ambassador, have to do to earn that first aid badge?
It's not quite to the EMT level, but it's
seriously,
it's pretty significant in what they're doing. They're learning more about those health professionals and what they do.
How cool is that?
Yeah, so it really is nice. Our program progresses on an age level basis, age appropriate, but you can follow a topic of interest. So those basic ones that everybody thinks of us having, the first aid, the cooking. Well, when you're a brownie,
they do cooking?
Oh, absolutely.
I should become a Girl Scout.
Cooking.
I could use some skill building in that area.
The brownies start out with snacks, and by the time you get to the older levels, they are planning dinner parties, complete with place settings and the whole works.
Can we hire out the Girl Scouts?
Well, we can check with a troop and see if they're working on that badge.
We'll have them serve. We'll make a donation. We work out.
Absolutely.
So what other kind of badges are there?
There's everything from woodworking, outdoor skills, math, science. The The legacy badges also include our financial literacy badges.
Yeah, I like those too.
Yep.
Because you really are teaching the daily life skills that they're going to need forever.
Absolutely. One of them I know at the junior level is like a comparison shopper, I think is the name of the badge. So they learn to look past perhaps the shiny marketing piece and find out truly is what they're shopping for in their, imaginary town, is it really the best value? So they're looking to learn those kind of skills as well as other badges that teach the marketing skills, the business CEOs, so business ownership skills, those sorts of things.
Cindy, those sound like some fantastic skills that really all kids need to learn. How does the Girl Scouts make sure that all kids that want to have access to the Girl Scout programming do have a chance to go through this experience and learn all of these many different life skills?
Well, we are partners with several of our after-school programs here in the Bismarck-Mandan area and surrounding communities. So we have several that we go into, depending on the school, one night a week, every other week or every week, to teach them those skills. We work on some badges. We work on some just core. What does it mean to be a Girl Scout? So those character skills we start with, but then we also go into the badges and the STEM activities, the financial literacy, and build on all of those as well.
So you're at Jeanette Myrie, right?
Yes, Jeanette Myrie is one of our schools.
Because this last October, we had a family that was living in their car in the parking lot down at Cashwise. The mother worked at the dollar store. She would take her kids across the street to go get to the gas station to get ready, and then walk them back across the street to go to Jeanette Myrie. So I suspect that those kids, who now, by the way, with the help of United Way, got shelter, are in their own apartment, are linked to mental health services for the parent. Everything's coming together. The mother actually has a new job with health insurance for her children, which is exciting. But I suspect that those kids were in an after-school program, because I know after that program, they'd go wait in the parking lot in the car until the mother's shift got done.
Yep.
So those kids, because the Girl Scouts is going into Jeanette Myrie, it wouldn't just be about having an after-school program. It's actually about skill building, character building, because they'd have access to be a Girl Scout.
Absolutely. And all of the kids in our after-school program are full-fledged Scout members, so they are also eligible to attend any of our special events, participate in troops, all of that. Or they can just continue to be an independent individual Scout.
That's exciting. So what about if they can't afford the uniform or the fees that might be associated with some of these events?
Well, thanks to our local United Ways, we have some financial aid assistance available for students that are in those kind of situations.
And you're going out to the reservation too.
Yes,
At
we
the
travel.
Standing Rock?
Yeah, we travel down to Fort Yates once a week for most of the school year to bring scouting down. We partner with the Boy Scouts, so we each send folks down there, and they take the boys, we take the girls, and we have a good time and teach them some about Scouts.
So is it a staff member going down, or is it typically a troop leader, a volunteer?
We are working on volunteers, but we partner. We have staff that goes, and then if we can get some volunteers to come with us, it's just that much better, because the more positive role models we can put in front of all of these kids that might be at risk, the better.
Absolutely. So, Cindy, tell us again about the STEM events coming up.
We have the Spooktacular coming up on October 31st for our Daisies and Brownies, so kindergarten through third grade, and then we have our Girls and Gadgets coming up on November 14th for our juniors and up, so that would be fourth grade all the way through 12th grade. And you can register for those whether you're a Girl Scout or not. There's a little difference in fee there, but you don't have to be a Girl Scout, or you can join Girl Scouts and enjoy everything that Girl Scouts has to offer.
Well, fantastic. We will put your information on our Facebook page at United Way. So go to Facebook.com/MSAU Way and get your children enrolled. We will be talking shortly with Kelly Gunge from the Welcome House.
Right now, 43. On the web, on the go, everywhere. supertalk1270.com.
Good afternoon. You are listening to United Way's Community Talk. I'm the executive director at your local United Way, asking for your help. Please, pretty please, learn more about what we do. Have us come in and speak to your employees, your friends. We are going around the clock because it's campaign season. We have Barb Ozen, who is leading our campaign. She is the main partner at Ide Bailey. And she has set a goal with our board of directors of $2.6 million that we're trying to raise for Bismarck-Mandan. But we really need everyone's help to get there. We've been making leaps and bounds in our campaign every year, and we need to continue that because the needs certainly are growing. But we're also getting much better at targeting dollars towards solutions so that we're breaking the cycle of poverty. We're making sure we get to be able to address the root causes. And we're also really supporting our agencies on a much higher level to make sure that they have the skills they need and the access to training. And we're able to do that through a lot of the grants that we've been receiving through generous foundations. So we want to make sure your dollars go to the agencies and to the support and to the agencies that are coordinating efforts to solve issues in our community. So get involved, be a part of deciding how those dollars are used, and volunteer. You can go to volunteerbisman.com. We have a lot of different needs posted there. You can help us to pack and deliver backpacks through the United Way Backpack Program. We recently delivered 500 backpacks this last weekend to schools in Bismarck and Mandan, the elementary schools there. And we are looking for additional funding to be able to provide services to the middle school and high school students in Bismarck and Mandan as well. We have about 125 kids. It's $5 for a backpack full of food. So if you can get involved and help us in any way, I mean, we truly believe that no child in our community should be going hungry. So meeting some of those basic needs in a very, very well-run shop over at the Welcome House due to the executive director over there, Ms. Kelly Gunch. Kelly, thanks. I got to tell you, thanks for the time, the energy, the effort that you put in back into our community, and for taking over the Welcome House, one of the shelter, homeless shelter in Mandan. And thanks for being our guest today.
Well, thank you for the invitation, Jenna, and it is both a blessing and an honor to have been with Welcome House this past year. In fact, on October 20th, we will have been reopened for a whole year already in our new facility.
That's so excited. Are people allowed to know the address?
Yes, absolutely. We have folks that drop by to bring over donations, whether it be food, toiletry, hygiene items. We are in the old Hartview building. It's now owned by Teen Challenge, and that is 1406 2nd Street Northwest, Suite 200. So we're very west in Mandan.
Yeah, and so Kelly, you guys are open 24/7, providing services to people who would otherwise be homeless and be living out on the streets. How many people are you serving right now?
Right now we have 3 families in our shelter. For a short period of time over the summer, we were completely full. Our new shelter can house up to 9 families. Most of the winter time we were full. However, this time of the year with the weather being a little nicer, we see a lot of folks just calling and kind of making us a plan B. It's never anyone's first choice to stay in a shelter. A lot of times they'll explore surfing on staying with a friend or family first, or a lot of folks even camping in tents and in parks and things throughout the Bismarck-Mandan community. So we're kind of gearing up for the fall season and for things to start picking up when it's too cold for people to camp outside with their families.
Well, that's just it. Do we have an idea of how many families are choosing other routes and doubling up and living out in the campgrounds? I mean, it's so hard to say.
It is, and even with our annual point-in-time survey every January, just are we able to find each and every person that is homeless? Are we able to count them? I believe this last January survey that way that there were over 1,200 people that were homeless throughout the state of North Dakota. And I think the numbers for Carrie's kids, just last year for the school year alone, there were over 400 children that she was able to confirm that were homeless. So our calls that we receive every day really reflect that as far as people are wondering what they can do and how they can find affordable housing.
Yeah, and we are a part of the homeless coalition, and so as a team, we've been coordinating with agencies to develop the system that has worked in other states. And so talk to our listeners about that coordinated care and how people can better access services through specific entry points.
Well, our CARES assessment system in that coordinated process that way is to help and prevent folks from having to explain their same situation to 5 or 6 different people. One's for utility assistance, one for shelter, one's to help the children in school, and for each one of those needs. So we have different access points throughout the Bismarck-Mandan community that way, of which Welcome House, Ruth Myers, Youth Works, the Abused Adult Resource Center, we are all agencies that can kind of get folks into that network of serving agencies, that we have service agencies, and help them get the care that they need, whether it be just some homelessness prevention or if they are just already homeless, to work on those services that we need to help them become self-sufficient.
Yeah, and you do a really good job with this because data is important in order for the community and the state to respond with dollars. It can't just be perception. So part of that coordinated effort is to try to assist the nonprofit network with counting the people that they're serving so that we can more accurately reflect the problem that we're dealing with. So have you seen in the last year, has it been steady, or have you seen an influx of people now with the oil prices dropping? Are you seeing changes, or has it been pretty steady in the Bismarck-Mandan area?
It's been pretty steady that way. As far as folks coming from out of state, that's usually about 50% of the folks that are staying in our shelter. Just about every month, it's right around 50-50 there. And that's for folks that have been in North Dakota less than a year is kind of how we determine that. We don't go by the last zip code that they slept in or anything. The other folks that are right here in North Dakota and have been here quite a while generally are coming from Burleigh, Morton, and Sioux counties. Quite often from South Dakota and everything as well. That's kind of our nearest nearby state that we're seeing a lot of folks come from, just with looking for opportunities here in Bismarck, and as far as the oil fields, like you said, just kind of moving west and looking for jobs. I don't think things have dried up completely, but it definitely has slowed down and slow down even the phone calls and so forth, as far as people calling to make plans ahead of time for moving out there.
Yeah, that'd be tough. That'd be tough when people are saying, oh, we want to come find a job. Can I have a place to stay at your shelter? That's not the purpose of the shelter.
We were receiving a lot of that last fall and everything. So we'll see how this month goes. In the months of July and August, we had kind of that 70 to 80 phone calls as far as for folks looking for shelter. So it was still surprising. I mean, in the middle of summer, people are just calling, and some folks are individuals and don't have families, with them, children with them. So we would, network with other shelters. But yeah, between 70 to 80 calls, it's just unbelievable. Just folks are. You don't see it here in North Dakota as you do in the bigger cities, but those calls are very continuous, and people that are ready to have their MDU turned off or have just received an eviction notice, and they're calling in tears because, what do I do? I'm not able to work right now, or my husband just kicked me out. And, some of the stories we hear are just heart-wrenching, Jenna, and it just, to be able to provide services and shelter for them, with the generous support of folks like United Way and our community members, we're at least able to provide some sort of a short-term solution for folks. And our program really is designed to help folks get back on their feet and, set goals and become self-sufficient.
That's what I love about Welcome House, is that it's not just that immediate need of shelter and food. You provide some fantastic case management services that continue even after they leave the shelter.
Exactly, and in case management for up to 3 years, that way to kind of help through those bumps in the road, so that, maybe hours have been cut back at work, or there's all of a sudden vehicle problems, unexpected expenses, and folks are able to work with a case manager, not having to explain their story all over again, but just work with someone that they're familiar with, they trust, and can help them, navigate those little hurdles and, just get back on their feet to be able to stay afloat.
Well, and I'm sure, Kelly, this past year, you've seen a lot of people that you've helped. Talk to us about a family that really you think about often and that is a success story of the services provided by Welcome House.
Boy, that's it's hard to choose just one family there, Jenna, because we truly have touched a lot of lives over the course of the past year. I think one of the most recent families that just moved out was a single mom with a young teenage daughter. Worked her butt off just to kind of those first few weeks when she came in, to find a job and to get things going again. Was working on repairing her relationship with her husband. And he had even came into the shelter for a short period of time as they tried to make things work. But she had underwent several obstacles, Jenna. That way she had a whole bunch of money stolen. She'd been saving up for a deposit on an apartment, and she'd had several $100s stolen from her at her new job. She had had problems with her husband that way that he had ended up taking off. And to see her get back on her feet. And she was actually with us for several months and just moved out the other day. Absolutely ecstatic to, be able to be on her feet. And so it was just, as she embraced me with a hug and said, thank you for everything we've done. We were able to provide her with food, blankets, and that emotional support to kind of carry her through these next few months.
Kelly, I want to hear more. I want to hear about how people can become more involved, what needs you have at the Welcome House, and what it's like coordinating with other agencies through United Way, the importance of the donor dollar. We are talking with Kelly Gunch, the executive director of the Welcome House. You're listening to United Way's Community Talk. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Right now it's 50 degrees.
Super Talk 1270. On the go and wherever you are at supertalk1270.com.
Welcome back. I'm Jenna Gullo, the executive director of the Missouri Slope Area-Wide United Way, asking you to mark your calendars. October 25th, we have United Way's annual pancake breakfast. We've been doing this for decades, so come on down on Sunday the 25th to St. Mary's Central High School. All of our volunteers will be making and serving you delicious pancakes. Free will offer October 25th. We also just wrapped up Coins for a Cause at our local elementary schools. Last year, they raised over $15,000 through their spare change. And all of those dollars go to support our Dolly Parton Imagination Library program. We are getting books into the hands of kids at a very, very young age, getting them excited about reading, about learning, about spending quality time with their parents. This program is open to you and your children if they are under the age of 5. So sign them up on our website. We are at msaunitedway.org. Register for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. And if you want to sponsor your children or other children in our community, we currently provide books to anywhere between 3,500 to 4,000 kids every single month in Bismarck and Mandan. That is unbelievable. But it does cost us shipping and handling of $25 per year per child. So if you can support your child or support other children receiving these books, then send in your $25 gift. Just designate it directly to the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. So one of the 32 agencies that United Way supports is the Welcome House. They are a homeless shelter located in Mandan. If you ever do have donations that you'd like to drop off, they are located at 1406 2nd Street Northwest over in Mandan, the old Hartview building. And joining me today is Kelly Gunch, the executive director.
Hey, Jenna, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Kelly. So, Kelly, give us a brief rundown of the services provided at the Welcome House for those people just tuning in.
Certainly. Well, the mission of a Welcome House is to connect local families with temporary shelter and supportive resources to help them become self-sufficient. Our homeless shelter serves families, single adults, two-parent families, either one of those are single parents with children or two-parent families with children. And basically our goal is a 90-day program to help them set their goals, receive suitable income, and find affordable housing.
What's that? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. What's that really look like? So, for example, talk to us about a typical client.
Well, a typical client may have found themselves homeless for a variety of reasons. Usually they were unable to pay rent on the previous apartment or home that they were living in and received an eviction notice.
Rents have been going up dramatically these last few years, haven't they?
It has, and in our Bismarck-Mandan community, it has slowed down a little bit. But for a family with 3 to 4 children, most are paying between $1,100 and $1,200 a month rent, if not more, just for a 3 to 4 bedroom that way home. So it's very expensive. So really working with those folks to see what type of skills they have, what type of jobs they're looking for, and being able to coach them through resume writing, how to find jobs that way, interviewing skills, basic budgeting that way so that a person, is able to budget through the end of the month and make sure that, you're able to meet all of those expenses. And for a lot of folks, just how to navigate daycare interviews and find affordable child care. So the case management really kind of is very personalized and unique for each family, but finding affordable housing, suitable employment, and childcare seem to be those main 3 things.
Yeah, and that's difficult for anyone at any income level, let alone when you're strapped and you're trying to make the decision between groceries or utilities. Are you going to keep your family warm and, as the winter months approach? And then transportation is a big issue.
Absolutely. About half of our families, 40 to 50%, come into the shelter without a vehicle. So one of the blessings through United Way is being able to provide bus passes, either daily or monthly bus passes for our residents. And the bus stop is just 2 blocks away from our shelter. So we're able to provide that transportation and show them how to navigate the bus schedule so that they can get to job service, doctor's appointments, job interviews, and so forth on time.
So, Kelly, you've been an agency who has been such a big supporter of our capacity building trainings, which we were blessed. A couple years ago, I wrote a grant to the Bremer Foundation. We were able to get funding to help train in our agencies who, a lot of our agencies and ourselves, we can't afford all of these trainings or marketing items. And so you've been a big participant in a lot of these efforts.
Absolutely. I believe in learning and growing is a constant experience and a blessing. And when the capacity building grant was mentioned that way, one of the things that really struck a chord with me is when we opened our new shelter, that our board of directors had really reached the end of their strategic plan. And as you said, those types of trainings and consultations run a whole lot of money that way. And it's, one of those expenses, between $3,000 to $4,000 just to be able to get things on track and find a cohesive mission and vision and make sure that we're meeting the current needs of the community. So being able to do that, as well as taking some nonprofit financial training, was such an incredible help. And we kind of pinched our pennies and made that grant go a long way, Jenna.
Yeah, you absolutely did. And we appreciate that because we love efficiency and being as effective as possible with the donor dollars and the foundation dollars from the Bremer Foundation. What people might not realize is that, United Way is run with a board of directors that are business people, business leaders in the community. So we and our donors expect our United Way to operate as a business, and then we also expect that of our nonprofit agencies. And so these trainings are helping to build those capacities so that your leaders within, whether it's your board leaders or the executive directors, they have the skills to be able to be as efficient as possible with donor dollars.
Absolutely, and that's something that I've believed for many years is when folks give generously of their time and their income, that we want to be practice good stewardship and not only be able to acknowledge them with a thank you, but being able to say that we've impacted as many people as we could, and we've done the best with those donor dollars as possible, that we've used them effectively and generously. So
what are some of the needs you have at Welcome House, Kelly?
Well, with right now, as far as our shelter supplies and everything, we, diapers and paper towels. We are almost out of paper towels and hand sanitizers, Lysol spray and stuff like that for the bugaboos and winter germs and things like that. Over-the-counter cold medicines. And just basic cleaning supplies right now. We try to make sure that when you've got, up to 9 different families, that those household chores and bathroom cleanings and stuff like that are done. Kitchen is cleaned on a regular basis. So anything that would assist in that. Another one of the fun things that people really like to be able to provide and to help us with is really just being able to find things in our baby boutique. We've got a little baby boutique for new parents that way, and as expensive as diapers are and infant formula and things like that, we accept donations of pretty much all of that stuff, as well as some baby clothes and things, and we're able to share those with the parents as they come into the shelter.
And so, Kelly, we just wrapped up our little black dress campaign at United Way. Thank you for participating and
awesome.
Wearing one black dress for the entire week last week. That was quite a challenge at times.
I even had a little baby barf on the bottom of my skirt I had to kind of wipe up a little bit one day. So it was a little more challenging this year than last, but it was a lot of fun.
You are a trooper. And the goal was to raise awareness on poverty-related issues and that not everyone in our community has a wardrobe full of clothing. So speaking of that, what if people do have clothing, business outfits? I mean, where's the best place in town for them to really drop them off, and how do your clients access those?
Well, we are just a few blocks away from Aid Inc., and we really partner with our community resources as much as possible. Our shelter is about 7,000 square feet, so we don't have a lot of storage space, but donations that are brought over to Aid, all we have to do is call their social worker and get a referral. It's for whether it be certain clothes for work boots, help with school clothes. There were several different organizations that did that, so really networking in the community to those thrift stores and everything is where we typically go.
You know, Kelly, that's an important message, is that we are trying to reduce duplication of services, and we know that for each of our nonprofits, including United Way, we can't be everything to everyone. We have to specialize in target services, and you do a great job of that in ensuring that your clients are getting the services that they need. Kelly Gunge from Welcome House, thanks so much for being with us. We have some ways for you to get involved in our community at United Way. If you're just tuning in, go to our Facebook page and like us, because we are constantly posting needs direct for families and also for our agencies. We are going and speaking to businesses around the community, and we need your help. We want to get in front of your folks because we know they're going to give. They're not going to be okay with kids going hungry and families not being sheltered, and we want to break the cycle of poverty, and that's what we're doing with your help through United Way. You want to decide how the dollars are used? Become a community impact reviewer, and as a United Way donor and volunteer, you can help make those decisions. Our dollars, 99%, stay local. They go back into the Bismarck-Mandan community. So when you're giving in the most efficient and effective way. And quite frankly, I don't care how you give. I don't care who you give to. Just give. We need your help. Log on to volunteerbisman.com. We have all of our agencies listed on there and needs. And I just want to say a special thank you this United Way campaign season.
ABC News, Super Talk 1270. Accurate news, stimulating talk. This is KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck.